Tune Into Care is produced in Meanjin, Brisbane on Turrbal and Yuggera country. We acknowledge the traditional owners as the custodians of this land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. Tune Into Care is brought to you by Wellways Carer Gateway. Carer Gateway is an Australian government initiative providing free services and support for carers. Welcome back to Tune Into Care. This final episode of the series is going to look a little different. After hearing 4 amazing carer stories, we'd like to introduce you to one of the people who has been instrumental in getting Wellways Carer Gateway off the ground. Being Wellways, it's no surprise that our guest today has also lived experience as a carer, and that experience has shaped, informed, and driven her to help make Wellways Carer Gateway what it is today. So let's begin with an illuminating chat with Rachael Lovelock, Wellways Director of Carer and Family Services, as we dive into the Carer Gateway's beginnings during the height of COVID and some of the programs they've been working on, from wander vans to carer hubs to their after-hours service. Plus, what's next for Wellways Carer Gateway? Rachael, thank you so much for joining us.
Lovely to be here.
For season 3. It's been a great journey so far, catching up with the carers, some of your team, learning all their stories. So it's so nice to have the chance to get you in here as well. I've done this with everyone as we've started the podcast. I'd like to know who you are and your role at Wellways.
So I'm Rachael Lovelock. My role is the Director of Family and Carer Services at Wellways. And I've had a really long Wellways journey. I've been at Wellways for about 13 years, coming on to 13 years. Wellways feels a bit like home for me, and that's why I love it. I didn't have the privilege of being able to have lots of education. I had things going on at home and left school pretty early. And I did great jobs and I was always pretty driven. But I got to a stage where I didn't feel like I was really doing what I wanted to do. And I found Wellways, and in finding that, I found the lived experience movement and the family carer lived experience movement. And that's why I love the Gateway, because it actually gives us this opportunity to take people who often as a carer you lose your identity. It all becomes about your caring role. And it's not always about the relationship. And I just found a way that I could see a pathway. I didn't know what it was, but I could see a pathway. And so I went on this beautiful journey with Wellways. And so it feels like full circle for me working in this program now and leading the team.
We've heard some incredible impact that the Wellways Carer Gateway has had for some of our carers that we've caught up for this season. Take me back to the beginning. Where did it begin?
Yeah, the Gateway journey for us and for Wellways started probably back in 2018. We knew it was significant reform. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. But we also had this ethos, this piece around family carers have their own identity. It's really important that we see that. And family care is a part of a relationship. That's everything. You're part of a relationship. You're a mum, you're a dad, you're a daughter, you're a son. You might be a neighbour with a really significant role. That's all about relationship. And that wasn't what family carer support was like at the time. So we decided to tender for it. We were successful. And Carer Gateway started on the 6th of April 2020. Really significant time because we were flat out in COVID. It was the start.
Yeah. What were some of the challenges you faced in that time?
Turning the service from a face-to-face service to an online service with a month to go. It was a really challenging time, and it shaped the Gateway, and everything moved online, which was great, and it was great that all the providers nationally could do that. But it's taken us a long time to get out of that now and to try and start to get people to come back in. Now our biggest challenge is family carers will say to us they want to meet people face-to-face. Not everyone, but for the vast majority, they want to get back into community. They want connection. Yeah.
We've heard that a lot, connection, conversations as well. People just love the chance to sit and talk or be listened to.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And that's that piece when we say we meet you where you're at. It doesn't matter how you present on the day. It's just come on in, talk to us about what you want, what you need. Often carers don't know what they want and need. Sometimes it is just that chat and it evolves.
We heard from one of the carers, Sally, who lives in Cairns, and Sally was great.
She's amazing.
And what was interesting is it was into her journey of looking after her partner. They were on the Esplanade in Cairns, and she wasn't really happy talking about or feeling that she was a carer. She wasn't there yet, but she met another carer and her husband in a similar situation, and it took that moment to meet another carer. How can you overcome that and try and meet carers where they're at? Because some carers may not be aware of what's available still.
Yeah, it's about talking about stories. It's the storytelling. It's often when people share their experiences that they connect to it. It's okay not to connect to the word carer. It works better for people when we talk about that relationship, but perhaps the caregiving that we might do within those relationships. And that's why for us, the more we can put out lived experience stories, the more people see themselves in it. And then when we introduced the carer hubs this year, that was sort of this next step, that evolution of that, where you could walk in. If you think you support someone, then this might be for you. So just walk in, have a conversation, we'll explore it with you. It's our responsibility as service providers to connect with people and connect in lots of different ways, because as soon as we meet someone and we ask them to share their story, they'll tell us. They'll look for support. As long as we make that easy and in dialogue, they'll meet us where we need to be.
Speaking of the hubs, when we were chatting to Sally about the new hub up in Cairns, she mentioned that she was able to be involved in the co-design of the space. Why did Wellways open up that option for carers to be involved?
So it meets their needs. It's important to have family carers there, because what the group bring in is how they're going to use the space, what's going to feel welcoming to them. They know their community. I don't know their community. And it also gives them a sense of belonging. It gives them a sense of ownership. And we can have beautiful hubs, but unless people feel like it's a place to be, they'll never come into it. And it's like that heart of the home type thing. You need people in your kitchen, in your space, to feel like it's the heart of your home, and that's where it's happening.
I mean, all the carers we spoke to said the hubs just feel like it's a hug when you walk in.
And that is what they brought. So we bring a concept, but when we co-design with people, they actually make it work for them. And every single hub is different. They all have a different feel that suits their community. They've all been designed differently, so what's in them is really different. So in our beautiful Gladstone hub, they've got a washing machine and dryer, because they know that people might come there when someone's having a long hospital stay, and it's the first thing you always want to do is be able to get some clean clothes and have a shower. Yeah, so they're, each side is different, and that's because we asked people who would use it, and that is like the cornerstone of everything. It's the heart of everything we do.
There's been a big focus on innovation in this series, talking about the ways you're innovating as a business and meeting carers where they are. Why is that important to continue to innovate and evolve for carers?
Because we haven't met everyone yet. We just haven't met everyone yet, and it's never going to be one service suits everyone. It's not there. There's no age limit on the Carer Gateway. It's any significant caring role, and so that could be around supporting someone at end of life, around mental health, around disability. It could be frail and aged care. It's so diverse, and no experience is the same. So we have to keep evolving, because that's when we land on something we think, oh, wow, mental health care has got that connected with them, so we'll do more of that. If we stay stagnant, we won't meet everyone.
Speaking of meeting everyone, the Wander van being rolled out.
We love Wander.
It's incredible, isn't it? And we caught up with Lou Faulkner to talk about this.
Yeah.
Why was the Wander van important for you to be able to reach those communities?
Where I look at where we support people across our regions, we are really focused in metro and large regional areas. And so I look at Queensland, and there's these vast areas in between where we might have the tiniest little dot. And so our job is to make sure that we find a way to get in there. And Wander helps us, because the whole premise of Wander is that we work with local communities. So Wander is a mobile office, so to speak, a mobile support. So we can go there, but we have to connect with other community organisations, because what we don't want to be is the org that goes in, in our big van. We're there for a minute and then we leave, and people think, great, that was wonderful today.
But what's next?
But what next? So the concept of Wander was to help us move. We've got a really strong partnership network. That's been something that we've worked really hard on.
Yeah, you're stronger together with others, aren't you?
100%. And we're not the experts of everything, and nor should we be. And we don't have trust and relationship in every community. So One Day actually helps that. It helps us go out, meet new partners, sort of share the knowledge, the expertise, meet people in their communities who they trust and who they know. We try and do it everywhere, and particularly in regional and remote communities, because people may not know Wellways. If you go into a First Nations community in the Gulf in Queensland, they're not going to know Wellways. But what they do know is they know our partner, Northwest Remote Health. They know them for a lot of different programs other than the Carer Gateway. They already have trust. They've got these networks already there. There's no point us going in.
With those programs underway, the Wander Van, the coaching programs that are making such an impact to the carers that we've interviewed on this series, what would you say are the next services that you really want to focus on?
For me, my eye is on the vocational program. I think it is an enormous and an amazing pathway for family carers to either return to work, explore returning to work, support going to work, whatever that looks like for them. And we never want to be the org that says, if you've been a family carer, so you must be a support worker. Come in with, whatever your dreams are, and that's up to us to support that. So I've sort of turned my eye to that.
We caught up with Gerwin, who sees it as such a great opportunity just to further her skills and potentially get back to work. Is that one of the reasons why?
Yeah, one of the reasons why. But for me, it's about identity. So often people are defined a little bit by their caring role. They take on a role in their family. So they might be the organiser in their family. They could be the person that does the driving in their family. But you do that for a while, and that takes over who you are. And so the idea with vocational coaching is it's really exploratory in the beginning. So ultimately people might want to return to work. They might want to study something they've always had an interest in. They might want to evolve and become a lived experience worker, whatever that looks like. But it's sort of that next sustainable transition. When you move from supporting someone and the caregiving to actually thinking about your own identity and who you might want to be outside of that. And that is actually a really great, it's a really great self-care tool to have an identity outside of your caring role. But it's got to be timed. It's got to be at the right time. If you went in and someone's pretty overwhelmed, they're new to their caring role, and we're talking to them about, would you like to return to work? That is not going to work. That's going to be overwhelming.
Yes,
so,
I can imagine.
Yeah, so it's about the right time, and that's when we have so many service types, that soft transition where someone might have done some of that self-care, they might have great social networks, they might be well connected, and we're starting to talk about identity. Vocational coaching is perfect for that, because that's your chance as a family carer to really explore who you might want to be outside of this caring role.
So consolidating and growing that vocational pathway program is a priority going forward. What else is on the agenda for the future of Wellways Carer Gateway?
Respite is an enormous issue for us, flexible respite. And that's because it's really hard to get providers. The team will tell us every day it's really hard to get residential beds, and people need that support. So we've got to do some real exploration around what else respite could look like. And, family carers will help us work out what that is. They're probably the big parts for me. And really, we've got these key priority groups of people that we know through the National Carer Strategy aren't accessing the gateway. So that could be family carers with their own disability, veteran families supporting veterans, mental health carers, LGBTI carers. There's a vast amount of people who haven't found their place in the gateway, young carers, First Nations carers. So really that consolidation piece, while the team are putting in place what we've done, my role then is to work on who's not accessing what we've put in place and how do we tweak that so we can speak to those populations and get them coming in for that support.
Rachael, it's been so nice to have some of the coaches come in and speak. The one thing that keeps coming up is the great relationships that the carers have with their coaches. Yeah. And from session one, they feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel listened to.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that feedback. And I think it's something to do with how we set up our model. We always try and make that first session really about building connection. It evolves over time. The gateway is also beautiful because you can move from service to service. So you don't have to just have coaching and then nothing else. You could have coaching, peer support, counselling. And when we actually help people warmly transition, it doesn't mean we have to share everything that we talked about or we worked on, but when we warmly transition them to a new connection, that's a really good outcome for people as well. But the work is always about the people. It's always about it.
I think one of the overarching things of speaking to carers the whole way through has been, I need to remember to look after myself before I can look after my family. And then they have gone on to say that they have gotten the support when they've gone to the hubs or spoken to their carers. How does that make you feel to know that it has made a difference?
Yeah, it's amazing because it's not easy to ask for help. It's actually really hard to put yourself first. And, in all my years of working in this sector, most people will tell me what their person needs before they'll tell me what they need. Build the trust.
Yeah.
And then you've got to provide the support that gives people the headspace to think about, we say their own identity or who they want to be or what's meaningful outside of their caring role. All of that feels like it's so far away. It feels hard to grasp when you're just trying to keep your head above the water today and just sort of sit there and think, I've got to get through to the end of today. So we have to meet people, welcome them, do those support things that give people a bit of a break and actually look after themselves, feel valued, feel heard, feel seen. And then once you build a relationship, that's when you can start doing the work that's sustainable over time. That's where you tuck in. And I think in my caring journey, that was probably 12 months, where it really was 12 months where I felt really supported and I felt incredibly heard and I could describe my caring role. But what I couldn't do is describe who I was outside of that. And so that was working with someone, and it was both therapeutic work, it was being with other peers, it was practical skills that I gained, but that's when my world opened up and I needed to rely less on services. Up until then, it was always a service response. Something went wrong, I've got to ring the worker. And after that time, something went wrong, but I know who in my network is going to support me. I know how to ask for that help. I know what I can do myself, and that's the work that excites me. I love it when we do that work because I think that's the work that makes a difference in people's lives.
I think that is one of the nicest places that we can leave this podcast for this series, Rachel. The team are doing great work, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the Wellways Carer Gateway continues to go. So thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
This series has been an absolute privilege to record and be a part of. I want to thank every carer who took their time to come and share their story with us. From the incredible Sally in episode 2, who shared her beautiful story of the garden wedding with her husband after his stroke, to Gerwin's inspiring story of hitting burnout before coaching helped her to decide to retrain as a counsellor. Emily's journey as she's learned to juggle her daughter's diagnosis alongside her roles as a nurse and a mum of 5. And Alfina, who I absolutely loved. She moved away from her family and friends in regional Australia to get the medical support that she needed for her baby son. These stories that we've heard on this podcast are not easy, but they are full of hope, told by strong, resilient people who give so much of themselves caring for others, at times losing sight of themselves along the way. It's incredibly inspiring to hear that they have taken a step in choosing themselves, asking for help, and moving into a new stage of their journey, not just in their caring role, but as people with their own goals and dreams to achieve. And a massive thank you to all the Wellways staff who came in and shared their own personal stories as carers, and how they've used those experiences as the driving motivation to help improve other carers' lives. And what did I learn out of hosting this series? That no one starts out thinking that they're a carer, that everyone feels guilt about putting themselves first, and above all, that there is support out there if you need it. That might be visiting your local carers hub to sit in the massage chair and have a little snooze, or going for a walk with a group of other carers. It might be one-on-one coaching sessions with coaches, or planning your re-entry to work through the vocational pathway program so you can follow your own dreams. It might be group coaching sessions so you can connect to others in similar situations, or learning how to manage your partner's medications with clinical care coaching. It might be financial coaching to help deal with the drain that caring puts on every resource that you have. It might be seeing the Wander van pull up at a park near you and going over for a sausage sizzle and a chat about aged care or mental health. So if this is you, somewhere, struggling, feeling alone, possibly facing burnout, maybe wanting to get back into the workforce after years away, or just wanting to connect with people who get your experience and make some new friends along the way, then please, from all of us here, just reach out to Wellways Carer Gateway. It's free, and you deserve something that's just for you. I'm Billy Bentley, and thank you so much for listening, and thank you for all that you do.